We just kick the damn thing off?
Let's kick the damn thing.
All right. Well, let's kick the damn thing off then, guys. So we are very excited today because we have a shit ton of beer, actually.
I love it.
know, it's awesome. I'm pretty excited. We got like
There'd be a problem if we had a lack of beer on the show.
Right.
We've never had that problem, but I don't think we've ever had this level of abundance.
We got some good
We got to
ones.
bring the right stuff, man.
Really good stuff. And our guest is to thank. So I'll let you introduce him.
All right, guys. So, amazing guy. I've known this dude for over, a long time.
It's actually been a long time.
It's been a long time. on and off, like on and off, on and off.
Absolutely.
His name's Rich Barra, and he came from, where are you originally from, Rich?
Orange County.
Orange County, yeah. California
Southern
guy.
California, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Born in Gordon Garden Grove.
Nice.
Took this trip to Garden Grove. Smelled like Blue Dog inside the van. Sorry, had to.
And Rich is a big fan of beer. He got me really into wanting to brew beer. It's a science, man.
There's a lot. I mean,
It's crazy.
it gets pretty scientific. Like the temperatures you got to keep stuff at.
Yeah.
You're actually living or you're dealing with live cultures. You know what I mean? So the more you keep a yeast happy,
Yeah.
the better your beer.
Happy yeast, happy beer.
Happy
Yes.
beer, yeah. I wanted to bring Rich on the show because of his knowledge of beer and because he brews beer. He can tell us a little bit about a beer he's going to be brewing soon.
Yes.
And he brought us something pretty amazing, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. Well, let's kick this thing off. And Derek, let it roll, man.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi, my name's Stu Hawk, and this is my podcast about all the weird, crazy, spooky things that scare me and my guests, and the one thing that helps us forget all about them. Ladies and gentlemen, beer freaks. And we're back,
We're back.
and we're drinking beer.
Yes.
Drinking
I'm
good beer.
glad we're
Probably
doing
pour
that.
it in this cup.
Could you imagine living back in the day when it was like Prohibition was going on?
That's oh no.
It's unacceptable.
You saved it.
I saved it, man.
Good job.
You almost had the first spill on Derek's
that's
new
it.
bar.
That's okay.
Bar, man.
That's okay. We need that.
Almost put a divot.
Yeah, so I got a wild hair at my ass today, and I built a bar, I guess, right? Like
It's-
bar
you built a
tower?
bar.
Like, it's a bar.
I mean,
Compared to the other bar, it's like a real bar now.
yeah.
What do you name your bar? Like,
don't know.
You're gonna have to come up with a name for this place now.
Once she's all done.
Okay,
Once she's
you gotta
all
finish
done.
her.
Yeah, I gotta finish her first.
Finisher. Easy. You got a wife, man. Relax.
She likes me down here.
Yeah.
She can do her own thing up there. Got my little area.
Yeah. So yeah, once you finish this, we're gonna have to come up with I say we. You're gonna have to come up with a good name. I'm happy to throw in some ideas, but this is like a badass lounge that you got.
It's getting good. It's
getting good.
Yeah, I was not expecting this when I walked in. Seriously.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. So I think we should probably get into a little bit of what we're planning on drinking tonight.
Yes.
And then, but before we do that, let's introduce the fear because we got to tie the beer
to the
fear. So let's start with the fear, and then we'll talk about what we're sipping
Gotcha.
on.
The fear is not being a gun owner. Literally, I don't own a gun. I have almost every one of my friends own a gun, and I don't. And it never bothered me. It was never one of those things I think I needed or should have had. But yeah, in recent times, things have come up. Obviously this time in this day, and things are happening around here. It's made me think, and it obviously the gun stores are blown out. You got lines out the doors, and you can't buy a gun, and obviously it's
Is
like,
that
wow,
still the case?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
it still crazy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
It's nuts, man. So and it gets deeper than that. It's just like, wow, it's not a matter of I want, I love to shoot a gun. I've done that, and
Yeah.
it's a good time, but not owning one, it's weird. Actually, for the longest time, me and my wife have been together for 20.
Since high school.
I'm not going to say the years,
Right.
I'm going to mess that up. But during that time, she never wanted a gun in the house, so she was the one that kind of kept me from doing that, because we were, there is a fear of your kids getting a hold of it and what you got to do with all those things. But trying to figure out, why I would need a gun, and then I think in this last year is where like the biggest fear came to me.
And I was actually in your exact same boat. So
Yeah.
I was one of those people
Yeah.
who bought a gun at the beginning of the whole coronavirus thing.
Okay.
Just freaked out a little bit. I wouldn't say freaked out, but it was like, look, it seems like things could get weird. And I have a son, you know, I have a wife, I have a family that I want to protect. And the last thing that I would want to be is caught off guard if anything crazy happened. I'd never want to use this gun in my life if I don't have
Absolutely.
to. Ever. Like, I'm not the kind of guy who's like, come on my property and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, that's not me. But it's like, look, if in the middle of the night, someone breaks down my door or breaks through a window, how shitty would I feel if like I couldn't protect my family?
Yep.
Yep.
Like I love learning about other people's fears because I find out that actually I probably have the same fucking fear most of the time.
Well, yeah, and you don't feel like you're so alone.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like you have like, oh, whoa, I'm not the only one. Cool.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. All right, so we're gonna crack or which one are we gonna start with?
Let's do it. So
Are we gonna do the one that's themed?
Oh yeah, we're doing the theme one first, and then we're gonna have Rich introduce and tell us about his little surprise.
That'll be
for
the
us.
finale because
Yeah.
I think that's a hell of a way to finish.
Yes.
I can dig it. All right, boys. So here's what Derek. Thank you for picking up the beer for tonight's episode.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'm gonna do the honors of reading this beer. So for this very special limited release, we aged our acclaimed Abbey Ale for 6 months in a mix of bourbon and brandy casks. Then blended the results into something approaching, well, perfection. Pours a deep mahogany with a velvety tan head. Aromas of vanilla, molasses, burnt sugar, and dark stone fruit are accompanied by notes of bourbon and oak from the barrels. The flavor is a complex blend of toffee, chocolate, and brandy-soaked raisins, resolving to a full body and lingering sweetness. Now, Derek, name that beer.
So, because of Rich's fear, it's called Double Barrel Dubel.
Dubel.
So double barrel, baby.
2019,
Double
huh?
barrel.
Double barrel.
And maybe
So,
soon
you know.
enough, he'll have a double barrel.
So let's do it. Let's crack this sucker.
Let's do it, man. Let's get
Yeah.
a little cracky. You know?
Dude, good choice. Well done
Yeah,
with the
dude.
theme. Well done with a good beer, man. You crushed it.
Good
So
fear.
are we doing the I don't even know, the whole tasting, like the smell, the taste, the body,
Do a
the
little
You know what?
sensory.
There's no rules here,
No,
buddy.
there's no rules. It's the Wild West.
I get the raisin at the back. That's with most beers that are.
I definitely get the
Aged,
raisin
yeah.
really quickly. It's almost like the beer that we were drinking earlier.
You know what?
I think maybe that's what. Are you getting any of the stone fruit? That's what I want to know.
No,
are you,
I'm trying.
Dude, that's the
I'm
first
almost-
thing I got.
I'm
You
almost
got the stone fruit. Good. Okay.
I'm almost getting that like you remember the movie theaters, and they had I forgot they're called the chocolate covered raisins.
Oh yeah. Like raisinettes. Yeah.
Raisinets.
Yeah.
That's what it smells like, a box of raisinets.
You know it does. You know because it says it has chocolate
Yeah,
notes
and
and raisins.
I was not thinking
Yeah.
about the yeah.
You know, Ommegang does some good stuff, man. I first had them when I was out in New York, but they have some really good beers. I think it's probably one of the better New York breweries.
I like their packaging, man.
Ooh.
It's a really good logo.
It-
the bottles.
This reminds me a little bit of that sticky monkey.
Yeah.
Just like kind
They
of.
all-
That's
they
what
all-
a
That's
little
what I was
bit.
saying. Yeah.
And a Dubel, is just a shy off of that. I believe it's still a Belgian beer. I mean, Belgian beers, even like when I was brewing them, if you mess them up, what's funny about a Belgian beer, the yeast naturally tastes like banana.
Really?
So you,
I love that, dude.
Jesse
I
loves it
love
because
that.
it becomes a banana bread beer. So if you screw up, you got a banana bread beer.
How
It's
cool
funny.
is that?
Yeah.
Dude, I got to tell you, just because you mentioned that, when I was going to school in Flagstaff, so they have a brewery there, and it still exists according to Donnie. Donnie's one of our buddies. So it's called Beaver Street Brewery, and they had a banana Hefeweizen.
Yeah.
So good. It was like an award winner. And this is like a small brewery in Flagstaff. So this is probably like their one claim to fame. But it was so good. I went back a couple years ago. They didn't have it anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a bummer, man.
I know.
I hate when good beers go away.
Right.
What do you guys think, though? I freaking love this.
It's delicious. I like it that
Very good.
you're definitely getting the bourbon. I mean, so the nose is the raisinettes, but the body is fantastic. It's just got
I still get a lot of the raisin even in the taste. Like the raisin comes through in the aromatics for sure, but
I-
then like the flavor, I'm getting a lot
I get
of
the
raisin.
barrel. I get
You
the
I get some of it. Yeah.
I love, and it's just one of those things. Like at first, people thought it was novelty, but I love high ABV beers,
Mm-hmm.
and there's something to it. It's not about the high ABV.
No.
They changed the whole chemistry of
The
beer.
flavor profile is like,
Once you
right?
get in the 9 and 10s, it's a different beer, and this is a good sipper. Like you could drink this.
I
Man.
don't know if I could.
After a
knock out bunch
4-pack
of
though,
these.
you're gonna be feeling.
You're
Oh,
gonna be
you're
darn good.
Jesus. It's feeling way good.
10%.
This is a great pick there. Great tip.
Yeah, I love this, man. This is great.
It was a good choice, man. It was
Yeah,
a good
dude.
find.
All right, Rich.
All right.
So you gave us a little precursor.
Yeah.
Your fear of not owning a gun,
Yeah.
right? So it's not necessarily a fear of guns. It's a fear because it's a fear of not owning one for protection, for all those kind of things. But let's go a little deeper now. Tell us a little bit more.
What really triggered it. So what triggered it was a very vivid dream. Very vivid. I remember in this dream, I'm looking around and I hear gunshots. I hear things. I hear things happening. I'm like, what's happening? I'm in my house and I'm like, what's going on? And all of a sudden I go downstairs, I open the door and I look outside and I literally see neighbors shooting at each other. I see people running in the streets. I see just fire. I mean, I see the stuff that's happening today. And this is well before what's happening today. This is probably 3 months ago, 4 months ago. This is when
Before the riots.
Before all the pandemic. I mean, right beginning,
Sure.
And so that's going on. I'm like, oh my God. So I come in my house and I lock the doors. I try and do what I can. I come upstairs. I'm telling my kids, okay, it's going to be okay. Get in your room. Let's hunker down. I tell my wife, let's do this. And in my mind, in this dream, I have a gun. I have one. So we're good. So I'm sitting there and then it just gets louder and louder and gunshots and fire. And all of a sudden I hear banging on my door and I'm like, whoa. And I'm waiting for someone to break in my door. So finally, all of a sudden my door blasts open. 5-6 guys come in. They're just trashing the place. I see someone running directly at me. He pulls his gun and he starts shooting at me. Shooting at me. I go to grab my gun and aim at him and there's nothing in my hand.
Whoa.
There is nothing in my hand.
In your dream, you think you have a gun.
Yeah.
But it's not there.
It's not there.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden I feel the hits on my chest and everything just.
And you can feel the sensation.
Oh, I could feel it.
Whoa.
And then it wakes me
wild.
up. It wakes me up in the middle of the night. I'm like just came out of the dream and just chill. I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. It was so intense. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get a gun. That was like my thought.
Yeah.
I got to get a gun because I don't have one. And this is happening right now. A bat, what's going to solve this problem? Nothing. And who knows even if that's going to solve the problem. At least I can semi-protect myself against someone else who has the same weaponry as me,
Exactly.
So from that point on, man, it was just like, oh, it's so intense. I need to get a gun from one dream. And all my life, I'd never wanted one, needed one. I shot them and I had a good time with them, but it was like, I was always afraid of my kids having guns, and my youngest one's going to be 18 next month. So
pretty safe at this point.
Yeah, I think we're good, but it's just, I was so fearful of I couldn't protect my family, and I'm like, that's insane. Like that there's no way. I got to get something and protect people,
Yeah.
And so it just went to the core, and I don't know if you, from that point, I went out to buy the guns.
Yeah.
Tried to buy the guns, went online, looked around, researched. I remember guns we had shot, and my buddy, and 1911s were my favorite gun. And so from that point, I'm like, okay, I'm getting guns. I told Jess about it. She's like, no, I think it's a great idea. Now, This is my wife that I've been with 20 plus years, going on 26 or more.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Who was
thanks.
always anti-gun.
Anti-gun.
Yeah.
So she never wanted me to have a gun. She was so worried about the kids and all that stuff. She straight looks at me and says, yeah, it's a great idea. I'm like, oh, okay. So let's, trigger. Let's do this. It's on.
Did you tell her about the dream? at
Yeah.
all?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
We talked about the dream.
And was that dream just a one time or was that recurring?
It was just one time.
One time.
It was just one time. and
But
that's
it
all
was
did.
that emotional.
It was that deep.
It was that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
powerful.
So, just wake up like you just breath out like, okay, this needs to happen, So I go online, I find guns, buy the guns. It took about 3 weeks to a month before the guns arrived at the actual dealer, and then I decided, okay, cool, I'm gonna go down there. Got to register. You got to do what I got to do to whatever the legal portion of it is. And I step in front of the guy, and I'm a transparent person, man. I just want to know things. So I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, I want to get a CCW. What's that take? And by the way, if you have a medical card, medical marijuana card, what happens? You know, do I have to wait a year after that clears or what? You know, what's happening? He's, oh, you have a medical marijuana card. I'm like, yeah. So I can't give you your guns.
Which is just insane to me, though.
Yeah,
because it's
crazy.
like it's issued.
But
It's
yeah,
a
but you can-
medical like it's
well,
not like
here's-
some random.
I'll tell you something further. My buddy, I talked to him about this. He was like, wait a minute. It's medical.
Yeah.
Medical, HIPAA, all those things.
Yeah,
They can't, it's not like a background check.
yeah,
Yeah.
They can't look into your medical history.
yeah.
But the fact that I said it and I was honest,
Yeah. That
ruined
that-
everything.
It immediately just kind of took you
Screw
off.
honesty.
And by the way,
Right?
And hey, check this out. We're cranking back beers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you could have a gun with that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right? Like
we could all
you
be
could-
playing
you could-
with a gun right
you
now.
could, you could be knocking back whiskey.
We could be like playing Russian roulette.
Yeah, not an issue. But when it comes to marijuana, which is probably like the most peaceful drug in the world,
Exactly.
like that's a no man.
No.
You can't have that.
I've said it's time and time again. I'm sure you've heard the same story, but if we're in this room right now and we're talking, having a good time drinking beers, if we start cracking tequila and, you know, someone pisses someone off, there's probably going to be a fight at the end of the night. That just happens with
Oh yeah.
alcohol.
Oh,
If we
especially
smoke-
with tequila.
Yeah. If we smoke and chilling, we're like, dude, I'm buying the pizza, you know,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
we're all going to bed.
Yep.
Like that's the worst part of the
Dude.
night.
Yeah,
Dude.
no one does any. Like you don't hear about people getting in car accidents when they're, you know, high on marijuana.
No.
Like
Marijuana, I don't know. Like, well, actually, I do know. I mean, you hear about the war against marijuana back in like what is it, the 50s or 60s or whatever.
oh god,
and it's
yeah.
like, but let's be real, dude. Marijuana is the safest probably drug, including alcohol,
Yeah.
that there is on the market. And I would love
100%.
Like, so I'll just say this, man. I would love to be able to smoke pot. My employer still says, even though it's legal in Nevada, that I can't smoke pot. And by the way, I even checked into the medical marijuana thing.
Uh-huh.
They said, nope, we can still,
Still
fire
federal.
you.
Still
Yeah,
federal.
Still federal.
And until it's federal, you are not safe because
I think it's going to, isn't it going to Congress?
It's
this
been there
month?
several times, man.
Well, but I think
Yeah.
this month it's going again.
I hope, man.
And Congress will pass it, but
Yeah.
the Senate probably won't. From my
It's
understanding.
just not like I don't
It's so
understand
weird.
it. It's just a weird time. Everything's so weird. I'm just glad we can drink beer.
Yes.
At least we have that.
I'm like back in the
I'm just
day.
getting slightly fatter every day, whereas I could be smoking pot. And,
Hey man,
not have
you gotta
to worry about
put
that.
the calories into your calorie count.
Well, I know.
Just eat less, and
I
drink
like-
more.
that's what I'm saying.
Do you guys ever listen to like 107.5 at all?
Yeah.
They-
Oh, yeah.
Well, they do that beer for breakfast. They just
Really?
recently did this Friday. Craft House came out with a new beer. It's the same calorie count as a White Claw.
Electrolux.
It's got
the
electrolytes in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you're
It's like
replenishing your
Wowza and all
electrolytes
that.
while you're drinking.
Yep.
Huge,
And I'm
huge
like,
fan.
dude, that's a step. That's
Dude.
I want to try it now. I'm like, because
It's actually pretty good.
Have you tried it?
It's pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic.
What's the biggest thing right now? Like
It is.
seltzers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
No,
I've
but
tried literally every seltzer
But
out
this
there.
one, this one tastes like an IPA. So it's actually an IPA.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's an IPA, dude.
It's
Whoa.
4%, so it's not like you're
not
not
high.
going to get blasted on it, right? But it is an IPA. It tastes great.
Yeah.
I've had it.
Really?
It tastes. It's actually got it's kind of got whatever that background flavor that Phantom Bride has.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of got that, like, I don't know, it's but yeah, dude. So it has electrolytes. It's like 95 calories, 4 carbs.
That's insane.
I
Yeah,
mean,
That's
and-
insane.
They told me, I'm like, that is great. Dude. You're replenishing, so you're not getting as dehydrated as you're drinking.
but that's
your
the thing.
beer. Yeah,
That's why the vodka water works,
Right.
because you're hydrating
Yeah.
while you're dehydrating. Some perfect stuff though for, like, you know, our hot summers here. But then now we're getting into fall, so this kind of stuff, pumpkin beers, which
pumpkin.
Ooh,
Pumpkin.
good segue.
this is the
Good
coolest
segue.
part.
Here we go. Here
This
we
is
go.
why I'm excited to have Rich on the show right now.
He didn't care about anything you said up until this
Nothing.
point, basically.
Because I'll tell you, if in another life, I'm probably, you know, like a really bougie white girl during fall. I love
I'm
my
with you.
pumpkin stuff.
Yes.
I'll wear some Uggs, whatever. I'll wear sweaters. I don't care.
This is why I love you, Derek. This is why you're the co-host now.
Yes.
We were simpatico on
So you
this.
do? I love it. I love pumpkin stuff. So it's that time of year. Rich, you're about to brew a what?
A pumpkin.
A pumpkin mother beer, man.
Yeah, and it's probably going to change. Like, obviously, I'm getting the ingredients this weekend, and like I told you guys before, I'm not the I don't stick with a regular recipe.
You're so humble.
So most of these guys they'll buy the kits and everything else, but I gotta change it, man. I gotta make it my own. Right?
Yeah.
I gotta I got to put that twist on it. And being my birthday's Halloween, my goal is to get this pumpkin beer by my birthday. I'm gonna badge it up, and it's gonna have a cool little sticker on everything else. I can't wait.
Well, God, speaking of, now I'm getting dry, guys.
Yeah,
We need some drinks.
Some drinks.
I know.
We need some drinks. Speaking of, Yingling is coming to the West Coast.
So I saw you post this on
Yes.
Facebook, and actually I saw someone post it on I'm in the Las Vegas beer and brewery group on Facebook or whatever. So there's excitement around this.
Mm-hmm.
I've
never had Yingling.
I have.
Yeah.
And I feel I'm not alone. I'm not trying to say like I'm this West Coaster who's tried it. Like, but I've been to the East Coast. I've had Yingling in Pennsylvania. I've had it in New Jersey. It's still a fucking lager.
Well,
man.
you're not a lager guy, man.
man.
You're not a lager guy.
Oh man,
It's not good. Like it's not good beer. It's like you know what's gonna happen is either one of two things. You're gonna drink it and you're gonna be like, oh my God, I feel like I'm tasting history because it's America's oldest brewery. Or you're going to have it and you're going to say, this tastes exactly like fucking Budweiser. So why the fuck does everyone give a fuck?
I'm hearing a lot of people just say it's really good, though.
I am just not a fan of Budweiser that much that if I tasted it and it was instant, I'd be out.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it tastes like Budweiser, it sucks. But from what I hear, it's really, really good.
It's not. It's not. I mean, I'm just saying that right now.
All right.
I think
Hey,
that there
But this
I
comes
think-
from a
but you know
guy
what?
that has not found a lager that he likes yet.
Yeah,
And
So you might
Yingling
just
also
not
didn't
like
do it for me.
lagers.
Well, and that's very true.
I might be on the same path as you. I'm afraid, but
Rich, I think you're going to find the same thing. If you haven't had Yingling, I don't think this is going to impress you by any stretch of the imagination.
All right, so we talked about your fear,
yes, absolutely.
which I love. I think a lot of people are kind of in the same place.
I thought it would be kind of relevant. We talked about some other things, but that's it's present. It's now. Everyone feels this, right? So
Yep.
I never owned a gun. I was never anti-gun, but I was just never like fully like, oh, I need a gun.
right.
And but then I saw a bit of the writing on the wall, and I was like, look, there's a chance that something weird happens, and kind of like we talked about, like, look, it was, at the end of the day, it was really about, I just don't want to be caught flat-footed. What actually I really like about your story, by the way, is like you're not coming in here saying like I want to shoot up people, so that's why I'm missing it. Like,
Absolutely.
no, you're talking about like I want to protect my home, and
Very
by the way, I don't even
sentimental.
have guns yet.
Yeah.
So like,
your own one.
so who's getting mad about this? Like,
Right.
oh, you like. Anyway, so when you told us what your fear was, I thought the first place that my mind went, especially when you said why it freaked you out about not having guns, was one of my favorite horror movies, The Purge, which I just think is really interesting, and I think a lot of people have seen it. If you haven't seen it, it's a really interesting concept. It's essentially a slightly futuristic America where once a year for 12 hours, America has no laws, and people can do whatever they want to do. And it's basically from like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Overnight.
Right.
And, of course, you got the maniacs and the homicides and the rapists and all that kind of crazy shit. And it's a great movie because it is like a fascination of like psychology and all the kind of shit that people would do if you had zero rules.
Yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
crazy concept about it.
Right. Like,
It's-
yes. Like, how far would you go? Right. Like what? So I think all of us right now would probably say like, look, if I had no rules, I would still be a law-abiding citizen for the most part. I mean,
I would.
We wouldn't go nuts.
I mean, I got morals, and you got that's a whole nother debate about morals and everything else, right?
But morals and ethics are really only cultural norms that we all get used to.
It's learned
So
behavior.
eventually, if you get to a point where you're at a purge where the entire society is okay with a purge,
Yeah.
that doesn't cross your moral or ethical boundaries all of a sudden.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so anyway, so the point is, this was a cultural phenomenon. I think a lot of people really like this movie. If you haven't seen the movie and you like horror films, I recommend it. If you don't watch it because it's pretty graphic and it's insane.
It is.
Now, here's the crazy part: is actually it is based on a slight reality,
Which is scary.
right. So this is the crazy part because this was really meant to be, or not meant to be, but like when you watch it, you think that this is sort of like this crazy thing that would never really happen. There's no way that humanity would allow something like this, and yet there was a historical basis for the Purge. The Purge actually came out of Well, it's debatable, and there's some conflicting stories, but anyway, it's essentially based on Saturnalia, which is an ancient Roman holiday leading up to Christmas. For essentially a week in ancient Rome, they had this celebration called Saturnalia leading up to Christmas for a week where you could do whatever you wanted to do
for a whole week,
for an entire week.
Intense,
now we're not
dude.
talking about a 12-hour
12
period.
hours,
We're
dude,
not
a
talking about a
week.
day.
You could do a lot in a week.
You could do a lot in a week. During the Saturnalia situation, there would be people who would crown themselves emperors and kings, and they would be able to order other people around during this week of Saturnalia.
What?
But then guess what? At the end of it, they would all be sacrificed.
Oh shit!
But they would do
that-
it knowing this.
I'm gonna die, but
So
I'm gonna
they
be
wanted
king
a good
for a week.
Yeah, they wanted a good week of like living.
Holy cow!
It was for the
That's
gods because they stepped up
insane.
into this higher ranking place, and they knew that they had to be sacrificed to the gods in
That's
order
insane.
to. It's wild
That's
shit,
insane.
man. Wild. And so what this
There's a
whole
lot of
thing
babies
was,
out there.
yeah, I'm sure that there were a lot of like what July, August, whatever the 10-month period. Like,
Jesus.
so basically, like it was meant to be fun though. It wasn't like the Purge where it was like basically meant to like
Just get
kill
to
as many
free
people as you
yourself,
can.
right? Like just-
It was get drunk,
Unleash.
have orgies, go bonkers, have fun though. It was
Right.
like it was meant to be fun, but it did often lead to murder, rape, frustration, a lot of other things that obviously are the unintended consequences of when you indulge in your every whim.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so that's sort of like the interesting aspect. So, you think about like, again, laddering back to your initial fear of like protecting your home. This is something that people have obviously been worried about since the beginning of time.
It doesn't. I mean,
it's
it doesn't.
it's
You wanna
animalistic.
It's
translates
protection.
across
You wanna
every
protect.
genre. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
wealthy, poor,
Forever.
whoever.
Forever. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
You want to
And that's-
protect your family, your people,
So we've always wanted to protect ourselves as humans, and this goes back for generations and forever. This is just Darwinian. And wouldn't you want the best tool possible? I'm not advocating for guns, but I'm also not saying that you shouldn't have a gun. I'm just saying, like, if you're comfortable, if that's what makes you comfortable, I am totally in favor of people feeling like they need to protect themselves. It's the personal responsibility.
Exactly.
And also understanding the risk, because here's the reality is that when you have something of that magnitude that can cause that kind of damage, there will be problems.
Yes.
I mean, there's the law involved.
Yep.
You're going to go to, like, so I was talking about before, you're going to go to court. Something's going to happen. Now, are you willing? We talked about that before.
Yeah.
Are you willing to take that shot? Is it worth going to jail? Is it worth murdering somebody? Is it worth these things? Now, if you practice the craft and you can take their knees out, you can take their hands out that they can't shoot back at you, those type of things. If you feel confident in that, cool. But that split-second decision decides your life.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
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 Yep.
So, yeah.
It's either their life or yours.
Yeah.
And their life, I mean,
You're pretty
that's the
insignificant
easiest thing
compared to
yeah. Yeah. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And I think that's my moral quandary with it as well, is like I bought the guns and I'm ready to do what I needed to do now. Would I be ready to pull that trigger? I don't know, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't.
a situation
You
that
got to
comes
make
up,
that
you-
decision
yeah,
at that moment.
Like,
at that time.
look, I still, so one of my favorite books of all time is For Whom the Bell Tolls by Ernest Hemingway.
okay.
Great book. And it leads with a poem by John Donne, which is where it kind of gets its namesake. And it talks about, if a man falls off the edge of a continent and he dies, I am the lesser because we are humanity. And for every person who dies is me, and we are all part of one.
Wow.
And obviously very deep, right? Like
Super deep.
It's like, and again, what it really is talking about is like, we are part of humanity. And so we should be, and I think that this is where I get really frustrated with like a lot of the Facebook conversations that I see these days, where everyone's just frustrated with each other. Everyone's yelling at each other. And it's like, look, we're not two camps. We're not two tribes. Can't we just be like, hey, we're all pro humanity.
Yeah.
Maybe we have a bit of a different view of how to get there.
Yep.
Right. So like, I would rather really not shoot anybody.
Yeah.
But I thought about the same exact things that you thought about.
Yep.
If someone ever broke into my house, I don't want to be caught flat-footed. I want to be ready. And so I was the same deal. I went to the store probably 3 times before I ever even actually got it. The first time, the line was too long, so I waited for like an hour, left. Second time, waited for about 3 hours, got to the front of the line. My license, the address on my license didn't match my actual address because my wife and I had moved about a year and a half before.
God.
So they said they couldn't sell me the gun. And I was like, I just spent 3 hours here and I didn't get it. And then the last time I actually did get it. And then I had to do the background check. The background check folks were backlogged by like 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, literally from the beginning to the end, we were talking about probably about a 6-week experience. And then at the very end, I bought 2 pistols, one for myself and one for my wife.
Right.
And I'm purposely not mentioning the name of the store because I don't want to get anyone in trouble here.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's what happened is I came in, there were 2 pistols, 2 9mm that I bought. And the guy, we're just having casual conversation as we're going through the paperwork to just finally hand them over to me.
Yeah.
Register the guns, get them all done.
You're ready.
And he's, he says like, hey, what are you getting 2 guns for? Like, what do you want? Like double sidearms? Like, what's going on here? Like, I'm like, I'm not a cowboy, dude. I'm getting one for me and one for my wife. And he kind of like stops, like, because he's writing on this paper. He kind of like stops mid like pen stroke, and he's like, I can't sell you this gun. And I'm like, did I say something?
Yeah,
and he goes, you're buying this for your wife? And I said, yeah. Should I not have said that? And he said, no. And I said, can we pretend like I didn't say that? And he goes, there was another guy in the room at the time, another guy who worked for this gun shop. And he kind of looks over at the other guy and he says, can I sell this guy this gun? And the other guy goes, this other gun is a gift for your wife, right?
Absolutely.
And I go, yes, absolutely,
Obviously,
it's a gift.
Jesus.
And so he's like, okay, well, yeah, it's a gift for your wife. We can sell it to you.
Which
and
is
I'm just
insane.
like, what the fuck? How does that make a difference?
just-
Like, how is this different?
A little emphasis on gift or,
what the
that's
fuck?
the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both protecting ourselves right now.
Jesus,
Absolutely.
This is my family. This is how we protect it. She shoots this gun. She likes this gun. You should be able to buy the gun for your wife.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, if I buy myself one gun, guess what? My wife's probably also going to use it.
Right.
So what's the difference here?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's not like I'm going to say, well, this gun's registered to me, babe. This guy broke into the house. You can't really touch this gun.
Speaking of amazing guns and stuff, we're going to get into some amazing beers.
There we go.
Bingo.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Best segue ever.
There we go.
But when it's beer, you don't need a good segue.
No.
You just fucking do it.
This is just about to happen.
The moment we've all been waiting for.
This is it.
I can't wait.
Because King Kong
Hangs dong.
In Hong,
in Hong Kong.
Kong.
All right, Rich.
That should take over the industry.
What
by
do
the
you
way.
got, dude?
Okay,
Let's see
guys.
this.
So I have the Dogfish Head 120 Minute IPA. Plenty of people have tried it. If you look at the bottle, it says ages well.
Yep.
And most people don't understand that you can actually age this beer. I have aged the beer that I brought today for 3 years, just a little over 3 years. And
Which is a feat in itself.
Right?
Because
Yeah.
I can't keep a beer more than like 2 days.
No,
It's amazing.
never.
Yeah.
So every time I do this, I buy one, and if I drink it, and I the longest I've aged or drank one has been about a year and a half. This one in particular has been aging for 3 years.
3
Wow.
years.
All right. I'm
So
stoked, dude.
I
Yeah.
pray and I
am-
hope that we get a difference between the two. And ultimately, what should happen is most Dogfish Heads sit around 14 to 15%. If you age it, you can get up to 20, 21%. I mean, you can get, you don't know.
This could be the highest ABV.
Yeah,
that
this
you've
could
had
be crazy.
You
tonight.
beasted it. You
Yeah,
have
this is it.
absolutely beasted it.
We have gone from probably 9 to 10 to 11% tonight, and now we're going possibly 20.
now, Rich,
I love it. I
is
love
it,
it. I love
is
it.
it gonna bum you out if it tastes no different than the fresh one.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. If you wait 3 years for something and it sucks,
Yeah.
Like letter writing campaign to Dogfish Head.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like that kind of.
Sam Calagione, dude. Hey, dude, what the hell? You say ages well in the bottle. I aged. It didn't go well.
First, you sold out to Sam Adams.
Yes.
Now your beer doesn't age as well as we thought. What the fuck, dude?
Come on, dog.
Dude, we're writing letters.
Dogfish Head.
Dog.
What the
fish.
dog?
All right, let's
Fucking
do it.
hanging
So-
down.
Should we like cleanse our palate with something?
We
like,
should.
What should we do?
definitely.
Here? All right, Rich. It's the moment, dude.
This is it.
This is it.
Okay.
This is what we've been waiting for 4 years
Oh,
from talking to you,
oof.
trying to get you on this podcast,
right.
and it's happening.
Okay, so I almost think we should just crack the
First one, right?
Yep.
The young one.
19. So
19
what's
years old,
crazy? Yeah, right. September 30th, 2019. So Dogfish Head, I just bought this today, and it's almost a year old.
Huh? Yeah.
Sitting here, that's pretty crazy, right?
It's a
So-
bad distribution.
So let's
chain.
just say, I was bragging that this was 3 years old. So let's call it 2 years old,
Yeah.
right? Compared to our other one.
Yep.
Sure.
And should we, do we want to try this one first, or we want to go side by side and then hit them, or do you want to just
I
give
got
a
an
little
idea.
profile of this 1st
Let's
one?
do blind.
Ooh,
As far as like,
shit.
so you guys, so like, I'll do like maybe I'll pour yours, you pour his, he pours mine. So like who's ever pouring
We
it
choose.
knows.
Sure.
But you know what I mean? So whenever we taste it, we don't know which one
But
to
we,
taste.
need,
Okay.
but we need the water in between the sips.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do
so
that.
the first session.
Let's do that.
And we all got tested for coronavirus before this.
We
Oh,
did.
dude,
We're
yeah.
all- we're all-
we
We're all
quarantined for
positive,
14
so
days.
it's perfect.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all gonna die tomorrow.
I'd be positive. I like my blood type.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
We'll get it set up.
So that was right at the front. It was got that caramel feel. It smelled like it was aged, but I'm guessing, and it was very syrupy. Had the IPA profile. It was good. I'm a fan of Dogfish, so hold on, let me smell this one. I didn't even get a nose.
water.
Okay. This is water, my bad.
one's water. We should have just let it.
Oh shit!
Oh, you should have let me.
terrible.
You should have let me on that one, dude. You should have let me. No, that's good. I'm glad. Oh shit, my bad. Okay, let me smell this one. Oh man, my bad. This got a heavier. Hold on. Maybe not. God, the nose is ridiculous. God, this is smoother. Oh, it's fucking way smoother. God, is that next the other one here? Can I try the other one again? No, man. This is just it's right on path, but this one seems smoother down here. This got more of the it's got the hop. It's got the I can taste more of the ABUs in this one. I hope I'm right, but
Okay, so the one in your hand, what do you think that is?
this is the fresh one.
That's the fresh one.
Yeah.
Got it?
That's the newest one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. This is so much smoother than this.
So the one that's on that you tried second
Yeah.
was way smoother.
Way
And
smoother,
that's,
dude.
and that's correct, right? Like
Yeah.
So Derek, the
Yep.
And then
older
look at
one,
you
the-
can tell by the color.
Look at the profile, dude.
Yeah.
It's like cloudier.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
darker,
one almost looks like
darker.
fucking bourbon.
Yeah.
Like, and then you got
This
this one
is-
that's definitely got some just.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
you can tell
I'll sip
color
on
right
this.
away. That's why
But-
you got to like do it without seeing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Who's next? I'm excited.
All right, man.
That's awesome,
I'm ready.
dude. That is
I'm ready.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, see this. Immediately, I'm assuming this is probably going to be the fresher one, but I could absolutely be wrong.
Nice.
Take it
Drink.
like a champ.
He took a big like
Very
half
good.
swig on that bad boy.
Okay, yeah, I mean that is definitely the 120 that I remember.
That's a pretty good IPA right there.
It is, it is, and it has a lot of the same flavor profiles. By the way, that we've been drinking all night.
Yeah,
actually.
it's stayed on point, right? Okay. Next.
Yeah, I mean this one, the second beer, 100% has to be the older beer, right? Am I crazy? All right, so the first one was the older one.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh damn.
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, dude.
All right. I feel like I just went to sleep. I had my eyes closed for so long. I just like got a blast of light.
All right. It's
Either way,
D's
they're
turn.
both very good.
Yeah.
They're very good.
All right. Well, it's your turn now,
All right.
son.
Let's do
All
it.
right.
All right. You just did the whole thing.
Blasted it.
Okay.
I got to say, the second one, I think, had a little bit more bite. I think the first one was the older one.
You got it.
Was the aged one.
You got it, son.
Yeah.
The new one doesn't have much nose.
No.
Yeah.
The new one doesn't have much
aged
nose.
one
Has the nose,
has
but it has
crazy
the
nose,
flavor.
Which differed from
Smooth
kind of
as
what you were
fuck.
talking about at
Yeah.
first. Like your initial sense, which is harder to get in these, was definitely not aligned to that. You didn't smell the old one at all.
Really?
Yeah. The nose is gone. It's like water. It's like
Really?
you can't smell it
Oh shit.
in
But
the
then that
glass,
taste,
but
you're
in the
like-
bottle, it's different.
Yeah. Oh, the bottle. Because it's like
Yeah.
coming right up. This
Like-
is
it's
so
like a shot
open
to your
that
nose.
it's just gone.
How smooth that second one is.
Oh, dude, yeah, and then that taste because
Yeah.
you can just feel it. Like even going down, you're like, whoa.
yeah, it's
like-
a bite.
Yeah,
The fresh one's a bite. The second one is
crazy.
It's even got a bit of heat. It's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
a little heat.
Yeah.
on the way
cool,
down.
dude. That's
Probably
badass.
because it's fucking 20% alcohol.
It's just, honestly, just aging, and from what I've
interesting.
realized before, aging this, it just cuts.
It smooths it out.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Like a significant difference.
It's almost watery,
And
like
for-
sugary, like
Yeah.
watery. Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I would have almost assumed that the newer one had
Had a
sort
more
of like-
bite to it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Dude.
We got to do this more often.
Yeah.
That was
we got to do this
fantastic.
fucking
Gotta
blind
eat some
taste test.
shit.
Oh, I like
Well,
the
it
blind.
doesn't always have
Yeah.
to be aged because that's going to take a long time.
Take a
It's
minute.
going to take a long
Well,
time.
I'll see you in 3 years.
We're gonna have
Rich?
some really good stuff.
We'll see you. All
I
right.
think I have one-
Can
I
you
think I
start
have one.
tonight?
I'll tell you what, guys. What you just did right now, though, I haven't ever seen anything on video or on audio that explain this situation. You know what I mean?
It's pretty cool.
I've heard about it. I've done it. And we've aged this, but I've never did the comparison.
Well, we got plenty of beer left.
Well, you brought it
Let's-
in, man. So
yeah,
thank
dude.
you, by the way.
That's awesome, dude. Thank you guys for having me here, man. I appreciate you guys. That's awesome.
Dude.
Rich.
Rich, you're always welcome back, man.
You're
This is a hell of a
amazing, man.
Good
conversation.
time.
We need to have you back on when you do the pumpkin beer.
Oh, please
Talk
bring
about
some,
that.
man.
I got to
try it.
That's pressure. I got to get it done now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
now,
yeah,
now,
now I gotta
now
do
it's
that.
live.
Yeah,
Now it's
now
out
it's
there.
And we're holding you
Yeah.
accountable. It's got to happen now.
Yeah, it's happening.
Because if it doesn't, every episode we're gonna be like, oh yeah, Rich would have
Yeah,
been
Rich
here,
never
but
brought the beer.
never fucking happened.
That's right.
Okay. I got
But
it.
dude, just
Yeah.
great beer from Rich. Beer maker, beer lover. You aged beer for us that we
Yeah.
tried, which we're
That
gonna
was
try
awesome.
some more here in a second.
Absolutely.
Stu gave us some amazing
Yo.
history.
Inside, man. I love it. Inside.
Crazy.
Some cool, interesting stuff that I just learned.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, Stu, you wanna end it out?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be seeing you